Welcome to the fourth installment of the Zokya Media blog. As you can probably already see, this is going to be a slightly different video type than we've done before. Partly because it's just going to be me, but also because I'm in this wonderful space, which is actually our garage, or as I like to call it, the Zokya Media Studio. Given the whole COVID situation, I decided to set up this space in the garage just so I could have kind of a different environment to work from. I tend to like working from different areas from time to time, mix it up a little bit, and also it's a nice way, since Mary's also working remote from time to time, for me to have a little bit of space, take calls and that sort of thing that I need to do down here. So first, an update on the casual 3D game that we're working on, Calories for the Colony. First, I just gotta say, I really absolutely love Blender. So my task for the last 2 weeks related to Calories for the Colony was to get it working on a mobile device, which I actually was successful in doing. It was pretty easy. I mean, Unity just has an export function for it. There's a few little things I had to tweak to get it to work, and of course, getting things working through Gradle and Android development can be kind of a pain. But as it turns out, I'm working on another project, which some of you may have seen alluded to on Telegram and Instagram, which is also an Android project. So I figured it was a good week to kind of combine those two things. But yeah, so I was able to export the project into Android, have it run, and kind of the neat surprise, I didn't expect this to happen, but the multiplayer mode worked right out of the box. So that was really cool. I was able to connect a game from the phone, actually host it from the phone, and then play on the computer, and it worked across them. Now the controls are a little bit wonky on the mobile thing, that's to be expected, and there's some UI elements that I think could be improved for it, but I think as a proof of concept, like boom, there we go, we got a mobile version. At some point, I'd like to also target iPhone, but I don't actually own an iPhone yet, so it'd be hard to test. But I will probably be doing that at some point. So another way in this video is going to be a little bit different. I figured I'd talk about some of the other projects that I'm working on, and maybe I'll make these dev blogs like that from now on. Let us know if you like that or not. So one of the things I've been working on is a Udemy course. This one's actually provided by Game Dev TV, and it's a 3D character modeling course in Blender. So this is for making animated characters that you would see in a video game. It's something that I've been interested in learning. The course started off with learning the basics of box modeling, and that's using like simple shapes to kind of lay stuff out. Did like a simple human figure. And from there, the course goes into modeling an ogre character, and it goes through the steps that you actually would when modeling it for an actual game. You start off with the drawings from different perspectives, and then you kind of lay out the simple shapes over it. Then you apply a smooth shader to it and pull some of those out, get the shapes to fit a little bit better. Then you get in there with some sculpting. You start putting in some high details. Now, because it's going to be in a video game, you can't actually have those high details be part of the model that you import. You need something that's lower res, but you still want it to look good. So one of the tricks that you can do is actually you do the high resolution model, and then you redo a lower resolution model. This is known as retopology, and you're able to use tricks like using normal maps and other shading and that sort of thing on the texture maps that actually apply to the 3D shape, and it gives the illusion of having a lot more detail than it actually is rendering in the 3D shape. So it's been really great going through all those steps. I'm to the point now where it's pretty well textured and colored, and we're going to be doing animation next. So that's been kind of a neat little side thing I've been learning, and hopefully a lot of those things that I'm learning can be used in Calories for the Colony and other projects I'm working on. So the other thing I'd like to talk about, and probably the project that's been biggest on my mind lately, is Project Dustrider. So that's not going to be the actual name of the project, but we're going to stick with that for now. And it's a fitness game for biking, where you can travel to different outposts, so actual locations in the real world, and you'll be able to do. So it's going to have a post-apocalyptic theme, and I always thought that the idea of like Mad Max with the gas vehicles is very cool. I'm a big fan of Mad Max, that whole thing. But it seemed perhaps a little unrealistic, or one of the possibilities that might happen in a post-apocalyptic world, with gas being, hard to come by or too expensive, is pedal power vehicles. Like, I think bikes would become a very important form of transportation, and instead of people running around in decked out cars and trucks with the blades and stuff like that, maybe they do that with bikes or other pedal vehicles. So that's kind of like the premise, like post-apocalyptic with pedal power vehicles. And because it's a fitness game, it's going to help encourage you to, in the real world, bike. And like I said, you have these outposts in different real world locations, sort of like how Pokemon Go will have their gyms. And you'll be able to pick up goods from one thing, like maybe water or food or whatever things that you might have in post-apocalypse, and you will be tasked with actually transporting it to another outpost. That's one of many mission types I'm working on. But I don't know, I've always loved the idea of working on a game like Pokemon Go, like Ingress, that involves real world. And I really enjoy biking. Not that I really need extra motivation to go out biking, but this might encourage me to go a little bit further. I want to have maybe an element in the game where the further you go or the faster you go, the more points you get. So it kind of encourages you to, work out. I mean, that's the point of a fitness game, right? So I also want to include modes for people that don't want to maybe bike out in the real world and would prefer to bike on a stationary bike or something like that. So for that, I have a few different mission types that I think will work. One of the ideas that came to mind was, this is the post-apocalypse, and you'll still probably want electricity for certain things, but it might not be available on the grid. So why not have a mode where you are meant to bike on a stationary bike for a certain period of time to generate electricity? I think that kind of works. So, no matter what your situation is, hopefully this can get you in the saddle if it's out in the real world or, on a stationary bike, whatever, and get you pedaling and just kind of be, a fun little thing to do. I think that one of the important things when you're working on entertainment projects, but particularly games, is that you create an experience that you're interested in playing. To a certain degree, I mean, I want people to enjoy what I make for sure, but when I created Calories for the Colony, I'm working on Calories for the Colony, I'm thinking about how that would be fun to play with my friends, something that I want to do. This bike game is much the same thing. I wanted something that was in the real world, that would be, make the biking activities that I like to do that much more fun and kind of gamify it. Maybe I'll be able to incorporate things where you have convoys, like convoys of bikes that will go together, so you can get your friends together and, ride and carry more goods or something like that. Anyway, that's some of the stuff that I've got going on here. There's a bunch of other projects and things that I have my fingers in. I'm going to try to remain focused and not do it too crazy. But, no real promises. So thanks for watching, and remember to follow us, Zokya_media on Twitter and Instagram, and Zokya Media on Facebook. And I'll talk to you in 2 weeks. Bye.